Okay, we'll call it to order. We'll start out with Pledge of Allegiance, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And moving along to action item 3, administration of oath and of Planning and Zoning Commission members, 2 remaining and 1 new. So, how do you want to?
So at this time, if I can get Bridget, Shannon, everyone to come up, and I'll go ahead and officially swear in our newly appointed and reappointed members of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Okay. Just if I can get everyone to raise their right hand. I state your name.
I, Shane Conklin,
Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Nacogdoches, Texas, and will to the best of my ability protect, preserve, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. So help me God. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All official.
Mr. Chairman. Yeah, look at that. Oh, I know, right?
Yeah, welcome to it. That is good.
I'd like to thank our planning, or Juan for administering that. Jerry, thank you. And I'd like to formally welcome Bridget to the Planning and Zoning. So welcome.
Thank you.
If you have any questions, he's full of knowledge, so he can answer it for you.
That's very unfortunate.
Okay, moving on to item 4, open forum. In accordance with in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, members of the commission shall not discuss, deliberate, or make any decisions on topics not posted as an agenda item. Speakers should address all remarks to the commission and limit your remarks to no more than 3 minutes, please. Moving on to number 5, consent agenda A, approval of minutes for the Planning and Zoning Commission held on August the 11th, 2025. So for those that were present, I'll entertain a motion when ready.
Commissioners, just a reminder, Mike New, Executive Director of Development and Infrastructure. This consent approval is for not only the minutes of the August 11 meeting, but also the Macias final plat.
I'm sorry. So we can approve both at the same time? Okay. So it's, okay, so we'll add in 5B, consider action on subdivision case SD 2025-02 regarding the Macias final plat for 2 parcels of land approximately 5.68 acres in size, more particularly described by the Nacogdoches Central Appraisal District, parcels 11204 and 72589, generally located east of US 59, Highway 59 North, approximately 1/2 mile south of the intersection of US Highway 59 North and US 259 North, the Garrison Y. And we'll entertain a motion when ready for both.
I make a motion to approve the minutes and to approve the Macias plat.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say same. Okay. Moving to number 6A, consideration, discuss, possible action on items. Do you need them? Oh, you were looking. Items removed from consent agendas. We'll move on to B. 6B, discuss and consider action on subdivision case SD 2025-01 regarding the Park Hill subdivision final plat for 3 parcels of land approximately 42.5 acres plus or minus in size, more particularly described by the Nacogdoches Central Appraisal District, parcels 26834, 24677, and 24696, and generally located south of the intersection of Park Street and Martinsville Street. Mr. City Planner.
Good afternoon, Chairman, Commissioners. Congratulations again on your appointments.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So this proposed subdivision consists of 3 parcels and is located on the south side of Park Street, just west of the Mike Moses Middle School. This is the preliminary plat that was approved by the Commission in July, consisting of 4 proposed lots with the condition that the following information be added: the owner address, zoning boundaries, topographical information, existing easements, water courses and drainage, proposed utility easements, and building setbacks. This is the final plat with the required information added. It was agreed that a note on the plat stating prior to construction of any improvements on the lots of the subdivision, building permits will be obtained, which would include the topographical information. Although the existing public sewer utility line that has not been completed prior to this consideration, a public utility easement is identified on the plat along the right-of-way of Park Street, and a representative of the applicant is present and can talk about their plans for the extension of the sewer line across the remaining 4 other lots, if desired by the Commission. And staff believes this request meets the conditions for approval, now that the previously mentioned information has been added to the plat. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, sir. Would does the applicant want to address anything or no? Okay. Okay. Is there any other public comment on this?
It's not a public hearing.
It's not a it's just a change there. Okay. Jerry, do we need to vote on? Okay. All right, Leonard, is there any discussion?
No, the only thing is everything has been approved, correct? Yeah, except for the sewage is what you're talking about. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to send you away and then bring you back. It's going to tie into the existing line on Park Street for the 4.
Correct. They're
Okay.
going to extend the sewer line from the south up to the north, up to the first lot.
To the first lot, meaning that square lot
Yeah, the one,
that has the 4
yeah,
subdivided parcels on it.
the first lot has the lower half attached to it. It's the largest lot.
Okay, and then just studies have been shown that it's fine to have that many residential properties on it tying to the existing line. No backflow issues, nothing like that.
I'm going to let the
Michael
city
Delaney,
engineer,
thank you very much.
Answer that question.
Michael Delaney, 215 Consultant. We're the engineer for the developer on this project. And so we have looked at the capacity of the sanitary sewer system there and what it can serve as residential and how many residents it could serve. And it has a capacity of about 600 more residents that it could actually serve as far as people
Great.
in that area. And the service area for it, immediate service area, is limited to probably the first 12 to 15 acres of that 43 acres, because after that it falls off quite a bit to where we can't gravity sewer in there. So we're pretty limited on service area and what we can do.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Delaney.
Is Case coming up too? Hello, Mr. Opperman.
Only to say that we've reviewed the design information from the consultant, and we're comfortable.
Okay,
with what's
wonderful.
being proposed.
It's on public record, so this is wonderful. Thank you. All right.
So then
Councilman?
I guess I'd like to make a motion that we approve the plat as presented.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say same. Okay. Thank you. Moving on to 6C, discuss and consider action on subdivision case SD 2025-03 regarding the final plat for lots 2R and 3, Block 1, Nacogdoches Industrial Park West subdivision for 2 parcels of land approximately 23.74 acres plus or minus in size, more particularly described by Nacogdoches Central Appraisal District parcels 26671 and 216635, and generally located on the southeast corner of US 59 North and Ernest McLean Road, Nacogdoches, Texas. Mr. City Planner?
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners, Juan Paulette, City Planner. And as stated, this subdivision is located on the southeast corner of Highway 59 and Ernest McLean Road. As you can see, the Wild Creek Road, which is recently constructed on the eastern property line, tying into Ernest McLean to the north, providing access into the subdivision. This slide shows the final plats for lots R2, or 2R and 3 of the Nacogdoches Industrial Park West subdivision that was included in the P&Z agenda packet. There's been a change in that plat since the agenda posting, and I will explain in the next slide. The plat covers approximately 23.7 acres and reflects the subdivision of the property into 2 industrial lots. All required certificates and dedications are included, and the plat conforms to the preliminary plat approved in October of last year. So here we've highlighted the public improvements that will be dedicated to the public, 4 in total. The change that was made is the sanitary sewer easement highlighted in green. It will be a public easement instead of private, as indicated in the plat that was in your agenda packet. Also, there's a drainage easement in purple, and water utilities in blue, and then the construction of Wild Creek Road and the right-of-way of Ernest McLean Road. And this is the revised final plat with the requested changes made to the sanitary sewer system, now dedicated as a public easement. And staff believes the revised final plat meets the conditions for approval. I'll be happy to answer any questions from the commission.
Can you go back one slide, one? Okay. And then one more slide, I'm sorry. So you're saying that the green is going to be a public sanitary sewer easement? Okay. And the purple is going to be also, the drainage,
Easement.
also public? Okay.
Everything highlighted, those 4 will be public easements,
Including the blue water line?
including the water line and Ernest McLean Road, as well as the newly formed Wild Creek Road. South on this, but east in relation.
Yeah.
North is to the right side of the slide.
And is that something that has been made basically in agreement to assist in them coming to Nacogdoches and building, or how is the decision made for a public easement?
I'll let Mike New.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. Mike New, Executive Director of Development and Infrastructure. Typically, when we go through the preliminary plating process, some of the discussion about infrastructure, this is part of it, how we align the water and sewer. If there isn't current connection, this is at a particular location northwest of the city that is just in our edges, and we're trying to get some development opportunity going with
Sure.
this project, and our developer and representative are both here and can speak to some of the details in that. The approval of the preliminary plat was just when I started at the city, so I can't speak to a lot of details, but I can tell you in discussion with developers, generally, we work through those issues about the alignment of that infrastructure and make sure that when there are with the intent of public lines to be installed within these properties and site developments, the city can maintain access. So we don't want to install a sewer line without the city being able to access that line if the city is intended to manage that in perpetuity. So each of these pieces are essential for the extension of infrastructure, and we dedicate and ask the developers to dedicate these easements so that we can maintain continuous access to them.
Okay. that makes sense, thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions?
Oh, yeah.
Is there any curveballs here, Counselor, relative to some of the changes to what was published and what's not? So just a vote on this one? Or do we need to call those out?
If I may, if the commission can just, if there's a motion to approve, if the commission can just state that, approve the revised plat as presented by staff, that would
Okay.
be acceptable.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I have a couple more questions, I'm sorry. If we are allowing these easements, do we have, so we do have enforceable language with them to state that we are able to access? I mean,
Yes,
It's-
there are some notes within the plat documents themselves that provide that instruction as to the city would be maintaining them once they're dedicated to us. That will happen at a later date, where it becomes ours, and it actually becomes something the city maintains from that point forward after we've done all our inspections. But the easement areas, generally, those are maintained by the private property owner. So if there's grass or surface landscaping that's done, or if there's materials that are kept at the surface level,
Right.
typically those are maintained by the property owner. Those are included as notes within the plat as well.
okay,
You may be looking at a smaller version. We're not looking at the full-scale version of
Sure.
these plats, but those are in the plat documents.
okay, perfect. And then have we also, let me actually have my notes here. So is it a 20-foot drainage? How long is that?
I believe it's,
For which color?
The purple?
it's a 20-foot drainage easement.
It is a 20-foot? Okay,
Yes.
just making sure that's correct.
A little bit different. It can vary depending on the site and the location, but generally they're 20-foot utility easements that we, as a rule of thumb, that
Okay.
we provide for.
And is there any potential for any overlap of anything for the utilities
size
or
of the
things like
pipe.
that?
Overlap in terms of,
Well, just like making sure that wherever we're actually putting this storm sewer and putting as a public easement, that there's nothing's gonna befall that, like having our streets or sidewalks and having underground issues or,
those dedications, typically, we wouldn't allow any vertical structures
Okay.
to go on top of those.
okay,
And there was some discussion about the sewer line in particular, the fact that it runs through the center of the property. There was obviously some elevation topographical reasons it was done in that way to provide connection up to the parcel on the north side. So that's really where we're coming from is staff's discussion with developers at the point that they are planning these site developments. We try to find the right mix of location, size, and continuity so that we know their interest is in the site itself and developing that property. Our interest is making sure that there's continuity across all parcels, even those outside of that particular development.
okay.
So this was one that kind of went back and forth in our discussion, but ultimately it has the ability to provide that connection north of this property, and that's certainly what we want to maintain.
That's what I was gonna ask next, is if there's more development that's encouraged.
I'd encourage you to have the applicant come up and actually speak to
Sure.
that.
Hi,
So,
We need your name and your address, unfortunately. Yeah.
Jason Jorgensen, 4701 Preston Park Boulevard, Plano, Texas, 75093. Your question was about the north lot.
correct.
So, I mean, we provided the drainage easement and the sewer easement just to facilitate any connections and to respect the flow of the existing drainage with the drainage easement, to let the water keep moving on the same direction and follow into the creek that would be, I guess, on the west side of the property.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
My other questions, I guess, and this is for you, Jerry, and we're talking about, you know, ensuring for an Amazon warehouse that comes in, which is great. I'm all about, you know, having industries come in, and then we're talking about traffic. So in like real life case studies, like in Humble, where they allowed that to just rebuild and they had drone issues and noise. This is very much an industrial area. But have we discussed in terms of legality for roads, who maintains the roads on the outs, for Wild Creek Road?
If it's a public road, it's being dedicated to the city to maintain.
Right, the city would be maintaining it. So have we discussed also heavy traffic for Amazon traffic, for trucks, semi-trucks coming in and things like that on a city scale?
I would have to refer that to case. to answer that
Okay.
question.
I'm sorry, I'm asking
No problem.
questions here.
Please ask questions.
Yeah.
That's good.
So, Case Hopperman, Director of Public Works, City Engineer. So yes, generally, for any, and this isn't a hard and fast rule, but we say for any development that's gonna generate more than 500 trips a day, which Amazon, most definitely will, we ask for them to provide a traffic impact analysis.
Okay, great.
And so, that's reviewed by staff. TxDOT actually took a look at it as well, I believe, since it also incorporates their facility as well with the interstate there. And so, that was reviewed early last year, I believe. So, so we had plenty of time to look at it and coordinate with them on their access, their ingress, their egress, things like that. So,
Okay, that's great. You know, the reason why I ask is because there was a routing error that's been sent 1,000 semi-trucks to the wrong location.
is that correct?
And so if you.
Wouldn't be the first time.
It wouldn't be the first time, but I do think about that in terms of where we're at. 59 is TxDOT. And then you've got issues with Wild Creek and Ernest Lane, McLean Road. You know, if they're doing routing changes or you're doing all of that with the traffic inflow, if something does come up like that because computers, digital technology, you know, sending drivers to a certain area, you know, are we prepared to handle something like that? Even with a traffic study, is there something that's going to mitigate those types of risk? You know, what is responsible to them, what's responsible to us?
The good news is that where this is located, there's an access, it's an interstate access road.
Right.
So on-ramp, off-ramp. Industrial is a state highway as well.
It is.
Yes, it is a state highway. And it's a
Okay.
4-lane highway built for.
Right,
this
heavy
kind of-
traffic.
Yeah, so.
Which I'm great with. I just need to make sure that we state that too
Sure.
and address it.
And, you know, I can't speak to liability or legality, but generally when we have issues with, say, Google, not to name names, but routing trucks, generally we can work with them to address those issues and get them to kind of tweak their, I guess, their algorithm or whatever it is. I'm not a computer guy.
Well, it's
Okay, he can,
it's amazing what it does. You know, before Maps and Google, everything went US 59 to Garrison, and then once those maps came out, now probably 80% goes north on 259. It changed everything.
We do have a GIS manager, Tread Riggs. He does a fantastic job of making sure that as anything new comes online, and we even had a conversation this afternoon about, you know, when we make sure this infrastructure, once dedicated, is reflected in our system and then available to anyone who needs to analyze it or review it. Same thing with our mapping. Once our streets are dedicated, that we'll push those out to the systems that utilize that information and make it accessible. So just to minimize that confusion, I'll also mention that we are reviewing, we're in the early stages, this is part of our next fiscal year, but looking at Ernest McLean Road, what that extension to the east of that intersection looks like, what we might do to even create better connectivity and help further development opportunity in this area.
great, because that was my next question. An
figured-
expansion, you know, if this becomes a hub, we have already addressed that.
Sure, and obviously this is an ideal location for this site, being this close and having essentially two connecting points this close to the highway. But how do we do that for the other parcels?
Right.
It's through Industrial Drive, which already is in pretty good condition, but does Ernest McLean, what kind of improvements can we extend beyond that intersection? We'll just look at other opportunities as they become available.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? You want to fire some questions at them just for fun?
I was gonna say, Lily, did you get everyone on staff to come up and talk? Just gotta make sure.
Well-
Juan, did you have to answer a question? Okay, just make.
We didn't get Jasmine up here. though.
No, I'm
Jasmine.
still, it's funny because I'm just like, I know I have questions, but they're good questions that we need to know.
You can tell somebody got another 2 years. That's what that is.
So, you know, my question too, and the last one that I have for just in general, the thinking of Nacogdoches and its expansion of where we go as a master plan. And I know this is a touchy subject because we don't have anything yet. This is industrial, it's called Industrial Row, that's great. But as we have looked in the history of our city, in the homes and the pushback of where we thought the outlying of the city was, how do we plan on creeping out towards the outer limits of Nacogdoches?
We might save this as a discussion item for the end of the agenda, but I will tell you that when projects like this come along, it does help us sort of envision what the city can do. What's the city's role in creating additional projects like this that are to our benefit? And if this were in a different location in the city, we might look at this as a potential challenge. But in the area that it's in here, it's certainly an opportunity, and we're doing our best to sort of work with it and through it and around it to make sure that we're creating more opportunity to Nacogdoches' benefit. So there is some long-term capital improvement planning that we are doing for this very reason. We're fixing a lot of old infrastructure. That's a big bulk of what we're doing with CIP right now. But the other part of that is, do we build and extend roads, and how does the city finance that into the future for new opportunities?
Right, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
No
Any other
questions?
questions?
You got them.
I do not.
Okay, we'll entertain a motion. Just a reminder of what Mike said we need to approve as staff presented.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the final plat with the amendments that were presented this evening. Is that correct?
I second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say same. Okay. Do you have anything else, or is this the next item?
No, and
Okay.
what we'll take for recording with the county will be the revised version.
Correct. Okay, moving on to 6D, discuss and consider action, again, to appoint one Planning and Zoning Commission member to serve on the City of Nacogdoches Zoning Ordinance Subcommittee, Executive Director of Development and Infrastructure.
Evening, Commissioners. I bring this back to you a fourth time.
Yep.
We'll settle it today.
Yes.
Allegedly.
We've carried this a little bit because of the new appointments and the next round of Planning and Zoning Commissioners, as well as our other Board and Commission members. For our newest member, the Zoning Ordinance Subcommittee was formed last year. I think it was in the fall of last year, probably close to the time I started, November timeframe. It was on the heels of a workshop where council was reviewing a lot of proposed zoning ordinance changes, a bit overwhelming at the time, so the council decided to bring our zoning board of adjustment, our planning and zoning commission, and our council members together in a small subcommittee group and work through those issues, come to terms with what the changes might look like, how it might impact the city, review them over the course of maybe weeks, a couple of months, sometimes longer. Not only big picture items, but very small items, housekeeping items. We've changed a number of different ordinances. I wasn't going to cover those in detail here, but the subcommittee has actually been very useful in bringing the groups together and helping staff bring things forward that either the commission or the council can, short of argument or too much debate, can understand and can carry forward just to update our code. We have a lot of pieces of our zoning ordinance that hasn't been touched since it was formed in 1970. We've got other parts that have been updated fairly recently. Our comprehensive plan is a bigger fish to tackle. We're kind of taking different looks at that with this subcommittee, different elements of our zoning ordinance. In fact, just at the last meeting, we were covering off-street parking. We could bring fences back as another category to potentially change. But we just look at a lot of different elements of the ordinance and determine if and what types of changes might be beneficial and get the perspectives from the different subcommittee members on those changes. So we had two. Ruth has vacated her seat. Bridget, you are now here. Commissioner Zemanek is on the subcommittee, and we are looking for the commission to make a decision on a second subcommittee member to fill that seat.
Mr. Newers, you may have said it. How often does it meet now?
We had been in a rhythm initially once a month. Since the commission met on August 27th, since the subcommittee met last August 27th, we had not met in 3 months. So we may try to stay in a monthly cadence if there's enough business on the agenda. There may be, but it's not set in stone, so there's no regular agenda. But if we do, we try to meet, I think we've been meeting on Wednesdays from about 4 to 6 p.m., Wednesdays or Thursdays from 4 to 6 p.m.
Was it this?
Is there a virtual option as well, or
No, it's old school.
it's all,
man. You
it's
gotta
all,
be there.
you be there?
Yeah.
Is
We
it-
could provide a virtual option.
Is it first week, second week of the month? What
No,
is it?
it's,
Third week of the month?
Usually it's closer to the end, third or fourth week of the month.
Okay.
And it can be subject to change. This is a group pretty informal. The meetings are open to the public as well, but we kind of carry business as it goes, and staff has brought a few items that, through our discussions with developers and just development in the community in general, we brought things forward too. So it just depends on the business of the agendas.
Okay.
So, back again to everyone.
I can give a very big recommendation for the work that they do. You get food if you show up. But you do, it is good work. The team, you got 2 from city council, 2 from ZBA, and then 2 of us, and then staff. And it's interesting to kind of start peeling back the 1970s and try to make it at least 1990. Just depends on the topic of the day.
Were you even born in 1990?
I was 95.
95, okay.
Get out of here.
Sorry, Jerry, I had to do that to you.
Wow.
I started law enforcement in 96, so it's, okay. Does anyone want to step up and serve their community further?
Wow, way to put it that way.
I mean, I would like to make a recommendation that Commissioner Arndt join. And the reason being is
Would you-
because,
are you okay with that? I mean, we're not forcing you, I mean,
no, and I will say this, because
did that
learning the
same thing to
ordinances are very important. Knowing how we actually function now, what are violations and what are not, really helps us make good decisions as a planning and zoning commissioner. And so with us being on here for a while, we kind of know what's going on and can reference all of it. You guys are also looking to study and change it, which is great. And we, obviously you have us to talk to. If you have any questions, city staff is great. And I just think it's a fantastic way to learn.
and all kidding aside, we mess with each other, but it's a very important objective and good group, and I've enjoyed being on another one downtown, which has been great too, so.
And you're coming in after we got this big packet at first with all these red lines. You're coming in after the red line fiasco.
Which has made it easier, a
We-
lot
so
easier.
yeah, it's made it a lot easier
We've
for.
crossed a big hurdle
Yeah.
up to this point, yes. We have. There's a lot more work to do, there is, but crossed a big hurdle.
Mike, always make sure there's cheese and crackers.
It is very important work though, because you end up changing this for our future of Nacogdoches and what we're doing, so, yeah.
You're okay with that?
The commission knows this, but the subcommittee is just a recommending body. So
Yes.
if there's anything
Yes.
to bring forward, we've brought rules of procedure forward to the ZBA for their approval and then ultimately council's approval. So this does go through the full bodies when recommendations are made by the subcommittee. So if something is discussed at subcommittee, there's approval and support to move forward, it will come back to this commission and eventually council for final decision.
So outside of Mrs. Rent graciously volunteering to serve on this committee, do we need to take action on that?
A vote would be
We'll
good.
vote, okay.
Yes.
So I made a motion for Commissioner Arndt to serve on the subcommittee.
And I second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say same. Not even, you want to dissent on it, just for record?
I like how we just left me on there. We didn't want to replace me or.
No, not at all.
That wasn't even an option today.
You stirred the
You had
pot
your
when you
chance.
walked in here a
I
while ago,
know.
so.
It's my fault.
Okay.
It always is.
Thank you, Ms. Moran, I appreciate it. Moving on to 6E, discuss scheduling content of future agenda items previously requested by the commission. Do we have anything?
We did have a few things.
Okay.
Commission, Mike New, Executive Director of Development and Infrastructure, we wanted to bring this forward because we do want to go ahead and schedule these items. We have 3 different items that the commission has, commissioners had requested during the future agenda items portion of our agendas. There's many times where commissioners may express a desire to have something put on the agenda, and there's oftentimes staff can simply share information by email. We don't necessarily have to make it commission business. I did want to cover these 3. I think what we, as staff, have kind of discussed doing is at the very next meeting in our, in the commission's October regular meeting, we could do what I think Commissioner Z, you had requested, is sort of an orientation or a walkthrough of the commission's tasks and powers and duties and general considerations, kind of an overview of Planning and Zoning Commission. We would prepare that for the October meeting. This would go at the end of the business. If there were plats or zoning requests, those would certainly come ahead. And we would, staff would make that presentation to the commission. That'd be open for discussion. It wouldn't be an action item or anything. We would go ahead and schedule that for the October meeting. November meeting, we would bring in our city engineer, Case Opperman, possibly Jason Vickery, the assistant city engineer, to give a presentation on floodplain ordinance, all the factors that go into that, and probably seek some questions ahead of time from the commission on how, and we can do this tonight too, how, what different topics or details you'd like for staff to cover in a presentation like that, so we're prepared. If we need to delve into some research or do some other things for the commission's benefit, we can certainly do that. This would be the time to kind of share your thoughts if you want to get into more detail on that. And then going back all the way to January, we hadn't brought this into a meeting yet, but we can certainly address some things. This may be one that we could possibly address by email or an outside communication to the commissioners. This was responsibility of developers regarding road maintenance and ensuring responsibility doesn't fall on taxpayers. Commissioner Foe, I think you had brought this up at that time, and we were looking at potentially heavy truck traffic from some dirt extraction materials and a project being done, and we were.
Old Tuttle Road.
There was some public concern expressed that all the truck traffic running down a public road is going to create problems that the city's then going to have to fix.
Right.
We typically do try to mitigate those things with designated construction entrances. We can certainly explain that offline, or we can bring that back to the commission as a staff presentation. Certainly floodplain ordinance and the orientation would be ones we'd want to put on our agenda and spend a little bit of time presenting to you.
Well, and I put forward the orientation. I don't know if you want it or not. I just remember my first meeting, I opened up that binder, had no idea where I was or what I was doing. So if you want it, we can. If not, we can scratch it at this point. She seems to be a pro at volunteering on boards, so.
I do know Juan has done one-on-one, and we're certainly,
Yeah.
any of our staff are available for one-on-one discussions to answer questions. And if the commission wants to do a more formal orientation, we can certainly do that as well.
Okay, yeah, clip it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unless you think we need it.
Yeah, I was about to say.
No, there'll be times when we discuss things like the comp plan or we go over capital improvement planning. We'll certainly want the whole commission engaged and do that in a formal meeting. This is one, certainly every commissioner is going to be at a different level, and we can respond to questions and engage one-on-one. It might be best.
Good news is we've got phone a friend in here, so with you and Jerry and Juan. Okay.
Yeah, addressing just a couple of these things, you've asked if my idea for the road maintenance, I would like to have a workshop on that just in general, because as we continue to keep growing, if Amazon expands, or we get more industries in, what are we looking at? TxDOT traffic studies aren't really needed for certain things, but when at what time is it required? At what point do we actually look and see, what's considered heavy traffic? What do we do for road construction? How do we actually manage that in terms of repavement? And I've gotten some lessons about road management, but I don't think that everybody else has, and I think it would be wise to educate ourselves again on that. In terms of the flood zone, I know that we have a 2010 flood zone, a flood study. And while that document is very thick, going through the bits and pieces of the highlights would be very important for us to know, which is what I want to go through, determine on a city level, like where we are with our FEMA floodplains. It's something that I don't think is in this current administration of what's happening with FEMA and the budget cuts. How does that relate to us if we do have a catastrophic flooding? What's going to happen with the city? And then identify essentially where we're putting things that would prevent, water restriction from flowing. And I've talked about this a lot. Progressive ideas does not necessarily mean that we are having to spend a lot on infrastructure, but talking to developers about the potentials of green landscaping for on roofs. How do we prevent flooding from actually occurring? Because I know that the weather has been very much incremental, and it's essentially for the safety and well-being for the city of Nacogdoches and its residents. So yes, I would really like to address all of that.
So we scrapped the P&Z reorientation or orientation. Will the city be prepared to speak on that in October? In any particular order? I don't know that any particular order.
I think staff's goal would be, as soon as we can, this could be for the October agenda, is floodplain
Okay.
ordinance presentation. what we'll touch on is, the floodplain study from 2010 was a precursor to our ordinance being drafted
Okay.
and approved. We'll walk through the ordinance language, what it says, what it requires, what it doesn't. And then, engage in discussion with the commission about potential thoughts, what the commission has seen over the last year or two in terms of floodplain. We can respond to questions. I think we'll prepare ourselves for that. And then if there's a broader discussion about where do we go from here, or if there's maybe even recommendations or thoughts from the commission, we could certainly engage those as well, or propose that it be discussed at the subcommittee level.
Okay.
Well, I say that, floodplain ordinance falls in a different chapter, so there may be some elements that apply to zoning that we could have the subcommittee discuss.
Sure.
Or staff could always bring something back, respond to commissioners offline as well.
Okay. Thank you.
And we'll follow up after that October meeting, we'll designate a time to discuss the road as well. road
Perfect.
portion.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We'll go to 7, and if there's anything else we want to talk about, we can do that. So moving on to 7, future agenda items. Commissioner may inquire about subject for which notice has not been given. Deliberation shall be limited to a proposal to place the subject on an agenda for a subsequent meeting. Are there any other agenda items that you would like to add for a future meeting? No? Commissioner Arant, is there anything? Commissioner Hu, is there anything would you like to add to?
No, thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. We'll call adjourn. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Call the time.
Vote time is 5:46, Jasmine.